Good morning. This is Senator Dick Black, retired senator. It is March the 18th, and we're going to just briefly discuss a topic this morning, exploring the most recent Haitian crisis. I just want to run through this in a relatively brief segment. We see the stories, the headlines of the chaos occurring in Haiti today, the fires burning, people dying, and so forth. People fleeing the island. Just recently, they said that the gangs had released something like 4,000 criminals. And I got to tell you, if you're an imprisoned criminal in Haiti, you are really a bad guy. These are people who are murderers, torturers, rapists, and so forth. You can figure most of them will try to make their way to the United States, where they will quickly become oppressed people, and the Native American people will be the oppressors, and it goes on and on. But in any event, just a little bit of history of Haiti. Haiti has just a terrible history. If you go back to the year 1800, okay, so you already have the United States. You know, the colonies declare their independence in 1776. By the time you get to 1800, you've had this whole transition to where we now have not just 13 colonies, but we actually have the United States of America functioning and operational. In 1800, very few people realize this, but at that point, of all of the colonies formed in the New World by Spain, Britain, France, Portugal, all of these, the most prosperous of all of them was little Haiti in the Caribbean. It was far more prosperous than the enormous colony of Virginia, which was far larger than the state of Virginia is today. The colony of Virginia encompassed a great part of what became the United States. And Virginia is called the mother of states because it spun off so many different states in this part of the United States. But in any event, as vast as Virginia was, its economy was nothing compared to that of Haiti. And the same thing can be said of any colony that you want, probably any two colonies out of the 13 original. And the same thing could be said of other places, Mexico and various Central American, South American places. So Haiti was tremendously prosperous under the French. Then what happens is in 1804, there is a revolution of the slaves in Haiti, and that was successful. The slaves won their independence, won their freedom. And then something very dark, very sinister and terrible occurred, because the leader of Haiti, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, carried out the Haitian genocide. He systematically traveled across the country of Haiti, and he led his soldiers in rounding up all of the white population of Haiti, And they, their practice was to use sharp instruments rather than gunfire. And they would round up the men. They would stab, a bayonet, and machete them all to death. Didn't matter, old, young, little boys, and once they had slaughtered them, then they went and they conducted a mass campaign of rape, torture, and execution of the white women, the children, little girls, the infants. And they carried out one of the most complete genocides in human history. It may not have been the biggest because Haiti is a small island country. The island is Hispaniola. It contains both Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So geographically, it's not tremendously large, but the genocide was extraordinarily vicious and brutal and very effective. To this very day, there are monuments to Jean-Jacques Dessalines throughout the island nation of Haiti, and he is revered for the work that he did in slaughtering the white population of the island. But in any event, so you go from 1800 prosperity, 1804, suddenly this plunge into racist chaos, and you go from there to today. The island of Haiti went from being the wealthiest colony in the New World to where it is chronically the poorest, most violent, most unstable nation in the entire Western Hemisphere. And throughout my lifetime, which extends a good while, Haiti has always been violent, has always been unstable, and has been racked by bone-grinding poverty. Now, what happens on January the 12th of 2010, Haiti suffered a very devastating earthquake, tremendous loss of infrastructure, loss of lives. What happens often in poor countries is when they're hit by an earthquake, many of these countries don't have wood for construction. They don't have steel for construction. So consequently, their homes are built of masonry construction. Masonry construction is extremely vulnerable to earthquake. And the reason is you can have a wooden structure, and I've actually been in an earthquake in California, and it was a pretty severe one. And we were in wooden buildings, and you literally could see the wooden buildings sway with the force of the earthquake. But because they're able to sway, they don't collapse. They tend to just move and shudder. Things fall off the walls. I recall looking out the back of a wooden building that I was in, good-sized two-story building, and there were telephone wires connecting that and another building some distance away. And as I opened the door to look out, my deputy, I was a colonel at the time in the JAG Corps, had a deputy, Dave Schultz, and he and I were looking out, and you could see the phone lines whipping back and forth. I mean, literally, almost as though someone had taken them and was just slinging them back and forth. There was no structural damage to those wooden buildings, nothing that had to be done. You contrast that with what happens many places in the Middle East where they also have very little wood, very little steel construction, and tremendous devastation occurs in the Middle East. It happens also in Mexico, very bad earthquake. So what happens in 2010, the Haiti earthquake hits, and with that type of construction that they had, tremendous devastation there. Well, it got a lot of publicity, and so Barack Obama, always very adept at exploiting these situations, he put the Clintons in charge of the relief effort. Now, Hillary Clinton was his Secretary of State. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't actually make the proposal to him. You know, it may not have been a big plot by him. It may have just been a plot by her. But in any event, Secretary Hillary Clinton is able to convince Obama that she and Bill Clinton should be in charge of operations in Haiti. Of course, as Secretary of State, she has an enormous role to begin with, but the real key to this is that she convinced Obama, and then Obama made this formal request, and they created the Clinton-Bush Haiti Fund. Now get this, now it wasn't just Bill Clinton who was involved in this whole corrupt operation. George W. Bush, he suddenly had the heart for Haiti, and he was going to see what he could do to solve the problems of this island nation. So Bush and Clinton began to do this massive fundraising effort around the world. People are sympathetic, and they begin pouring money into the Clinton-Bush Haiti Fund. Now, we don't know where all that money went. We can speculate, but we're not going to do that. But in any event, at every stage of the Haiti operation, everything, reconstruction, fundraising, oversight, allocation, a Clinton was involved in the operation. I think everyone who has written about the operation, just about everybody seems to acknowledge that the Clinton-led recovery of Haiti was an absolute disaster. It was clear that the Clintons had the typical arrogance, and they didn't even invite ministers of the Haitian government to many of the most important meetings that they had on how they were going to solve the Haitian problem. I can't help but wonder whether their primary interest was not in helping the Haitian people or the Haitian government, but in helping other interests in what was going on. But in any event, the aid was a disaster, and it was just sort of a continuation of the history of Haiti. Some people would say, oh, you know, there's been all this American exploitation. And, you know, certainly when you're talking about the Bush-Clinton Fund, exploitation is not terribly unreasonable. But the fact is that there's little record of any sort of Haitian government that was truly durable and honest, this type of thing. The best that you can hope for in a country like Haiti with this violent culture is to have a strong, firm government in charge that will forcefully promote some measure of law and order for the people. Today, there is this fellow, Jimmy Cherizier. They refer to him as Jimmy Barbecue, and he wants a revolution. There seem to be mixed opinions about Jimmy Barbecue, and there's a fellow we had hoped to have on today, Dan Cohen, who's a journalist and formerly with RT America, which is a very respected outfit. And it's his opinion that I had hoped to share with you today, that he said Jimmy Barbecue, he has this name not because he burns people, but because his mother supported the family by selling barbecue on the streets. And so it's much like people who have the name, Tom Baker. Well, he gets the name Baker because somewhere in his family history, there was someone who was a baker and made their living. And that's a reasonable, rather persuasive. But in any event, it's very difficult in Haiti to ever sort out the good guys and the bad guys. So I will not venture a guess as to who represents the most meritorious part of this whole chaotic mess. But conceivably, what the Haitian people need is the most forceful, dominant individual who can take charge and seize that country and try to jerk it back to some sense of order. I noticed that there's a government, I guess federal government website called Smart Traveler, in which they say, do not travel to Haiti. Violent crime is common, including murder, armed robbery, kidnap, sexual assault, and carjacking. So that's quite an advertisement for tourism there. It's very interesting that Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, recognizing that the federal government has essentially abandoned the nation's borders, except to the extent that they man them to facilitate and to wave in illegal migrants. Other than that, they do nothing any longer to defend the nation's borders. So Governor DeSantis has ordered Florida authorities to intercept invaders coming across Florida's borders, and just recently they intercepted a boatload of Haitian aliens invading Florida, carrying guns and narcotics. So these guys are just starting in America where they left off in Haiti, with crime, with violence, with narcotics, with murder, and fortunately, Governor DeSantis, with his prompt actions, has managed to turn back this particular boatload of invaders, and I wish him all the best. It's the borders of the United States are the responsibility for defending the borders primarily lies with the states today. The federal government has very little role in defending the borders against illegal migration. This is because President Biden has made a decision that he wants to change the demographic makeup of the country. He wants to do away with Native American culture, history, population, And he will do that by literally, he's actually flying thousands and thousands of migrants from their home country to the interior of the United States. Sadly, the federal courts have allowed him to do this. They seem to take no responsibility for the future of the nation either. But in any event, I think we can take some pride in governors like Ron DeSantis, who is certainly the finest governor in the United States today. And so God bless Governor DeSantis, and wish him all the best with his efforts to defend America's borders in Florida. That's going to finish our program today. We've got a very interesting program coming up next week, next Monday at 11 o'clock. We've got Patty Lyman. Patty Lyman is Virginia's committee woman on the Republican National Committee. So she is one of a small number of people who run the RNC for the Republican Party nationally. Very fine conservative, a rock hard conservative, and what we're going to do, we're going to discuss the upcoming presidential election, and we're going to focus on an article that Patty and I discussed the other day, and it was put out by NBC News, and it was a very fine article. I know when you hear NBC News, you say, "Well, what are you talking about?" It discusses the panic that is unfolding within the Democratic Party as they see their election hopes fading, and the anger of President Biden that his poll numbers are plummeting in Georgia and Michigan, both of which he has to win in order to win the presidency. It's a very, very well written article, which is surprising. But anyway, Patty Lyman will be joining us on Focus on the News next week. For anyone who wants to tune in, you can always locate us on Twitter. Our Twitter address, I know it's called X now, but it's hard to refer to it. But our Twitter address is @SEN Richard Black, which is short for Senator Richard Black. The symbol @SEN Richard Black, all one word. So please join us, and we look forward to having you here, and we will continue to explore the state of the world. All right, well, have a good week. We'll see you then.